welcome to this latest episode of the Maz's Musings podcast, where I can assure you, no one on the podcast is ever a jerk. But some of the people we're going to be talking about today just might be. In this episode, we are going to be doing a little bit of Am I the Jerk? Villain style. I have crafted some Am I the Jerk scenarios based on different movie villains, and I am going to be reading those to Eileen to see if she can guess which villain wrote it. I figured that this would be a fun and interesting way to take a different kind of look at some of these characters. And it does kind of fit in with what Disney is doing with its current villains show. And before we get into our main topic, of course, we have Meghan's Cuckoo Bananas Joke of the Week.
And now it's time for Meghan's
Cuckoo bananas.
Hi, Meghan.
Hi.
Do you have a joke for us today?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
Why did the kid cross the playground?
I don't know. Why did the kid cross the playground?
To get to the other slide.
Good one. All right, now that we've had a chance to laugh, I hope you're ready because the villains are coming. Here's our main topic of the week. All right, so Eileen is here with me again. It had been a while, and now she's basically in every episode for a little while.
Doing what I can.
But so we are doing something different today. We are going to be doing a little Am I the Jerk? But with movie villains. So most people, I believe, are familiar with this Am I the Jerk? Or there's a more, expletive Am I the, version of it. It's very popular on Reddit where people will give a situation and ask the people, am I a jerk? Most of the time, if you have to ask the question, yes, you're the jerk. And it's also become popular in certain morning radio talk shows to read some of these out loud and then get people's opinions on who the jerk is. In this case, basically, I'm going to be taking that concept. I've taken the stories of some movie villains, and these are all movie villains that Eileen is aware of. She's seen the movies for, and so, there are a lot of movies Eileen has not seen that just absolutely blows my mind, but these are all ones that Eileen has seen.
Wait, so these aren't just Disney movies?
There are a couple of other movies thrown in, but they're all movies you've seen.
Yeah, but that's okay. So I have to think a lot broader.
Maybe a little broader, not too much broader.
Okay. You've got me nervous now.
So Eileen's job is I'm going to read the scenario, and Eileen's job here is going to be figuring out who this villain is.
I'm not good at stuff like this, so this is going to be really bad.
Okay. Now, basically, like I said, I did this by distilling down the stories of the villains and then putting it in kind of like the format that they would have. This is something I've been working on for a while. I've had this idea, so every so often I'll add one to this list. So I'm excited to actually do this and see how this goes.
Well, I have a feeling your questions or your statements might be good, but my ability to come up with answers in a short time, I'm a little nervous about that.
I'll say that there are cues in here that will clue you in on who it is.
Oh, I'm sure.
So much like, with, when you're reading your kids a story and you want them to be focusing on, picking up the cues in the story, same kind of idea here.
So that means you're going to use emphasis on your voice when there's something I need to know in there.
I will use some emphasis.
And then only have two kids actually pay attention to the emphasis too.
Well, I hope that pretty much you're the only one who's paying attention here. So Of
Sorry.
course, anybody listening, you can play along and you can see if you get the answer before Eileen does.
Oh, man.
So I will say, let me finish the thing before you guess, even if you know it right off the bat, because I worked hard on some of these. So
Okay, but people at home, if they guess it first, I have to wait. So it doesn't necessarily matter.
yeah, it's not an actual competition.
Well, it totally is, because there might be that one person who's listening and is like, I'm going to beat Eileen.
All right, so let's get started. Here's situation number 1. Am I the jerk? Okay, so this is going to sound bad, but hear me out. I'm a middle-aged male, and I've spent most of my life in public service, making sure things run smoothly while my boss, well, let's say he's more focused on foolishness and frivolities than actually running things. He's a kind man, but he's dangerously naive. And I've been the one making the real decisions behind the scenes, and frankly, I got tired of watching this place fall apart under his mismanagement. So, I found a solution. I discovered a resource that would help me definitely get the promotion I wanted and would let me make some much needed changes. But I foolishly outsourced its acquisition, and my new associate and his partner ended up stealing it from me. And then I found out he ended up weaseling his way in, lying about his credentials, and becoming next in line for the promotion. Now, my longtime business partner did get back what was stolen from me, and I exposed the liar, and I ended up getting the promotion. And admittedly, some of my attempts to get the top job were a little extreme, and my new policies weren't initially popular. But then this guy comes back, stabs me in the back, steals my property again, and makes me a total outcast who can't even leave his home now. And may I remind you, everyone at this point knows he lied about everything, but they don't care about that. Now I am a social pariah because I tried to bring some order and vision to the head job. So, am I the jerk for being overly ambitious in my pursuit of my boss's job, even though I was arguably the most qualified?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no clue.
Well, let's think. It's somebody who's basically been doing the job of his boss while his boss just kind of fools around. He decides that he's going to do something about taking his boss's job.
Right?
But-
No, I got that. I cannot.
So you give up?
Yeah.
Jafar.
I'm going to be so bad at this.
All right. Now, the second one might be a little bit easier for you.
We couldn't have started with an easy one.
Sorry, it's in the order that I made them. She's giving me a look right now. She's not happy with me.
No, you're going to make me look like an idiot.
It's not. I'm not doing anything except reading. Okay. Am I the jerk? Scenario number 2. I'm part of a royal family, but I've lived my entire life in the shadow of my older brother. You know the type. Big, loud, muscular, loved by everyone. I, on the other hand, am intelligent, calculated, and have a knack for politics. But of course, brains don't matter when you're not the one with the amazing head of hair and rippling muscles. Anyway, when he became ruler, it looked like things were stable, but there were systemic inequities that he refused to adapt to. Entire populations were never given a seat at the table and were starving. One of his top advisors was even known to refer to them in derogatory terms. It's on tape. You can look it up. Then he announced that his son, who literally couldn't go get a drink of water without an escort, would take over one day. No discussion, no merit, just blind nepotism. So yeah, I took matters into my own hands. I orchestrated a plan. Yes, it was aggressive. I'm not denying that. And my brother ended up dying. Tragic? Sure. But then his son just up and ran off. Some leader, right? So I stepped up and tried to create a more equitable socioeconomic structure for the area. Was it perfect? No. Resources got tight. But at least I wasn't pretending everything was fine while ignoring the entire population who was suffering. Fast forward a few years, and guess who comes back? My nephew, who abandoned everyone and has zero leadership experience. He shows up with a couple of friends, and in spite of all of that, says he should be in charge. Then he attacks me in front of everyone. That's how he solves disagreements. So, am I the jerk for trying to make the best of things after my brother's death and trying to lead the kingdom in a new direction, even if my methods were a little assertive?
Scar.
Ding, 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 ding.
That one was much easier. When do you have time to write these?
What do you think I'm doing sometimes? Like I do things like this. I have little side projects that I do to pass the time.
I just
You read, I do stuff like this. All right, number 3. Am I the jerk? I used to be a respected member of my boss's inner circle, and long story short, we had a little disagreement on how things should be run. I was fired, and I've been living essentially in squalor ever since, scraping by on the outskirts while he lives it up in the lap of luxury. Now, here comes his daughter. She's sweet, impulsive, and completely unaware of how the world works. She comes to me, desperate to ditch her family and home for a guy she saw once. She's never even talked to him. I offer her a perfectly fair deal where she has a shot for some real one-on-one time with him, and if he loves her, bam, she's all set. If not, she'll come back and have to stay with me. No harm, no foul. She even signs a contract, in ink, like an adult. Well, surprise, surprise, she struggles, so I nudged things a little bit by entering the game myself. And I didn't cheat, I just played the game smarter. And when she fails to seal the deal, I call the contract due. Well, that's when Daddy storms in, throws a tantrum, and in spite of my better judgment, I negotiate a new deal with him. Again, it's legally binding, it's consensual, and it's agreement that he signs. Then the girl's so-called love interest, who basically forgot who she was, shows back up and stabs me, because apparently the law means nothing anymore. So, am I the jerk for expecting people to follow a contract they chose to enter, even though they didn't like the outcome?
Ursula.
There you go.
That was
See?
Yeah.
Now that you've got the hang of it, I think you're going to be okay.
No, I think that those are 2 movies that I've seen a million times. I mean, I guess I've seen Aladdin a million times too, but I don't think of Jafar as like one of the primary bad guys. I know he is, but like he's not a bad guy that stands out the way Ursula does.
Sure. No tentacles.
That would be part of it.
He does turn into a giant snake.
He does, but when I think of Disney bad guys, he's not one of the like prime ones that come to mind.
Alrighty, on to the next one. Am I the jerk? I'm a man who was raised to value patience, respect, and strategy. I've worked hard to build a reputation and a career by being steady and thoughtful, not rash or impulsive. Enter this colleague of mine. Brilliant? Yes. Charismatic? Sure. But he's also reckless, confrontational, and constantly inserting himself into conversations that don't concern him. And for reasons I still don't fully understand, people eat it up. He talks over everyone, writes angry essays, insults powerful people, while I've been working quietly behind the scenes, building relationships and keeping things from falling apart. Over time, he went from being a rising star to someone who was a direct obstacle. He threw his weight around to block my opportunities. He questioned my integrity publicly. He made sure everyone knew that he didn't respect me. And when I finally called him out, he brushed me off like I was being dramatic. So, yeah, after a particularly nasty comment, I challenged him. The situation escalated, and it ended badly. Now I'm the one people whisper about. I'm the quote unquote cautionary tale, even though all I did was finally say what I'd been holding back all those years. So, am I the jerk for finally confronting someone who spent years tearing me down, even though it meant breaking my own rule of staying silent?
This isn't a Disney movie, right?
Nope.
Okay. The Aaron Burr?
It is.
The writing was a clue there. But then I lost track of who you were talking about, whether it was Burr or Hamilton. I'm like, nope. So.
See, you're doing all right.
Yes, for now. How many of these are there?
5, 6, something like that. I lost track of how many we've done, so.
I've gotten 3 correct so far.
Okay. So I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. I was just curious. I want to,
So you've gotten 3 right and 1 wrong.
Technically, I didn't get it wrong.
Well, that's true. You didn't make a guess, so I would consider that. If a student left an answer blank, would you give them credit for it?
I might give them a chance to fix it. It would depend on the situation and the student.
Oh, so you
No,
play favorites?
No.
I'm just kidding. I know you.
No, I don't. Stop it. You anyway.
I know you don't. I was just making a joke.
Except.
All right. So, yeah, you do have some kids who will, show up at your doorstep with cake, trying to gain your affections and perhaps a little extra chance. But you have far too much integrity for that. You'll take his cake.
Oh, I was about to say, if you give me Reese's, I love you forever. It doesn't bring your grade up, but it shows that you're willing to put in some extra work. So I'll put in some extra work for you.
Well, no, I think that it just shows that there's a way for you to speak well of somebody forever, and it's through Reese's.
Yeah. No, I tell those kids that. I said it won't bring your grade up, but I'll love you forever.
All right. On to the next one. Am I the jerk? So, I have a bit of a family drama situation and could use an outside opinion. I'm one of 3 brothers, and we're all in the family business. After we decided that it was time for a dad to retire, it's family stuff, don't ask. We split up the business, but I wouldn't say it was divided evenly. I got stuck doing the dirty work. But I sucked it up, I did my job, and kept things running smoothly. And what thanks do I get? None. Now it's necessary work, but people don't appreciate it. And honestly, a lot of people hate me for it. Meanwhile, my brothers are getting worshipped, throwing parties, and living it up in a penthouse. And everyone else treats me like I'm the weird goth cousin they only see at funerals. I'm the one everyone has to avoid because I, quote, bring down the vibe. It's made me a bit jaded. So, I worked on a way to move up the ladder. I had ideas for reform, structure, maybe make things a little fairer. So, I put together a strategic plan to take over leadership. Sure, I moved some pieces around. I shifted power where it needed to go. Some people lost their power for a bit, but I didn't hurt anyone permanently. But when I found out that thanks to some serious nepotism, a guy who claimed to be my brother's long-lost son undid everything, made a dramatic scene, and suddenly I'm the villain. Now I'm right back where I started, and everyone acts like I kicked a puppy instead of trying to balance a broken system. So, am I the jerk for trying to rebalance the hierarchy, even if it meant going after my power hungry brother and his golden retriever of a son?
I feel like I should get the golden retriever reference, right?
Well, no, that's probably the least.
Oh,
But
'cause
things with long lost sons, I would feel like there wouldn't be much.
I can't think of anything with long lost sons. Is it Disney?
It is.
Like from when we were younger?
Mm, we weren't adults. I don't recall the year that it came out.
I feel like I probably should know this, and I'll probably be upset when I. So, long lost sons, and two of them.
Trying to usurp his brother. Some people lose their power.
Right, why can't I figure this out? I'm trying to like go through movies. I don't know. I guess you'll have to tell me.
Hades.
Oh, that's a really hard one.
That's a really hard one?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Why?
a really hard one.
I mean, it's not like, the one of the top Disney movies from your youth, but
Right,
it's
well,
not
that's
like,
why it's really hard. Because it's not like prime of the.
all right, you're still doing well though.
Yeah, but not as well. No, I'm actually failing. No, I'm still passing.
But you've gotten 3 correct and 2 you have not been able to figure out.
Yeah.
Well, just think, if you were playing baseball, that would be an awesome batting average. I mean, that's even a good like shooting percentage if we're playing basketball.
Yeah, but I would not be doing well if I was taking a test at school.
Well, we're not.
All right.
All right, the next one. Am I the jerk? I'm a guy with a complicated reputation. I'm highly skilled, but I've been known to be intense, been called controlling and obsessive, and some might have even thrown around insane. But honestly, I think that says more about how people fear change than anything else. Now, growing up, people with power were treated like royalty just because they were born into certain families. Meanwhile, those of us with actual talent, intelligence, and drive were dismissed or feared. The system rewards bloodlines, not merit. So I decided to fix that. Yes, I studied concepts that others didn't approve of. And yes, I built a loyal following of people who believed the world needed structure, vision, and leadership, not just tradition for tradition's sake. I didn't randomly attack people. I targeted those who clung to a decaying system and refused to adapt. And when those so called heroes rose up to stop me, they weren't fighting for peace. They were fighting to preserve their privilege. In the end, I was vilified. Not because I was wrong, but because I made people uncomfortable by challenging their cozy worldview. They didn't want to admit the system was broken, so they made me a scapegoat. So, am I the jerk for trying to build a more disciplined, merit based society using unconventional methods just because I wasn't born into the right family?
Is this a Disney one?
No.
I'm really like torn on this. Is it something I've seen?
Yes. Often. Not fairly often.
Like, is it Voldemort?
It is.
Okay. Not all of it made, but like the unconventional, there were a few things, but yeah, I guess he doesn't see what he was doing was wrong. Okay.
A lot of times the villains, they think they're justified in what they're doing.
You didn't say anything about like, trying to kill Harry or anything like that. So that's why I was thrown.
Fair enough. was trying to keep it a little bit vague because I felt like there were a few details that might make it a little too obvious.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
So, we've gotten 4 correct.
I have.
Excellent. And it looks like we've got 2 more.
Oh, man.
Okay. Am I the jerk? I'm a decorated war veteran, and now I'm a high-ranking political military liaison, I guess you'd call me. I used to fight for what I thought was a noble cause: peace, justice, freedom, all that idealistic stuff. I was young and genuinely believed we were making things better. But the people in charge? Hypocrites. They preached compassion while waging wars. They handed out life and death decisions to committees of self-righteous cowards too afraid to act decisively. And when I started asking the questions, real questions, they turned on me. They called me dangerous. They said I was unstable. They feared my potential more than they valued me. So I made a choice. I joined a different leadership, one that promised order, strength, and an end to dysfunction. And yes, that meant enforcing discipline and making hard choices others were too weak to make. People say I went too far, that I betrayed my old friends, but those friends left me to burn the moment that I stopped agreeing with them. I was trying to bring stability to a government that was on the brink of collapse. So, am I the jerk for turning against my brothers and sisters in arms if the end goal was peace and control for a broken system?
Is this Disney?
Well, Disney owns it. But what doesn't Disney own these days, other than Harry Potter?
Have I seen it?
Yes.
Is it Star Wars?
Yes.
Who's in the military?
Who's the villain?
Was Anakin in the military?
Yes.
I didn't.
They're the whole thing. They're fighting wars.
I didn't know it was like military. Like, okay, so I got it.
Yeah. That counts. You got there.
It was confusing because,
So,
I
yes.
guess I didn't realize they were like.
Darth Vader.
So the Jedi are like the army?
The Jedi were leading the clone army against the separatists. I know we haven't watched. We've been going through the Star Wars movies. We haven't watched Attack of the Clones yet because it's simply dreadful. But
Right, I was going to say.
But that explains a lot of that. And then Revenge of the Sith is basically all related to the war.
And we have seen them before, but yeah, it's been. I think the last time we did like a go through the series rewatch, I was pregnant, so that was a while ago.
All right, one more.
Okay, so that's 5 and 2. So I'm going to be passing, I think.
Yep. Okay.
That's an example of I'm willing to put in the work for you if you're willing to put in the work. So I got there, but like you let me get there.
I'll give you a Reese's later. Actually, I think you owe me a Reese's because
I don't have any more Reese's in this house.
It's time for the school year to start again. Eileen is out of Reese's.
I finished the last one like last week. I was just like, these lasted a long time.
I don't think that people quite understand just how many Reese's you get over the course of a year.
Well, and this past year was like extra.
That
like
class was special.
I've never had a class that like did what they did. Like I was getting them on the weekly basis.
Yeah, I was not exaggerating when Eileen works at a neighborhood school. We live in the neighborhood that she teaches, and a kid did actually show up at the house with a cake,
with a Reese's peanut butter
cupcake for her birthday. So that was not an exaggeration. Anyway, All right. So, one more. Am I the jerk? I'm a single woman who has been raising an adoptive daughter for her entire life. I took her in as a baby, gave her a home, food, comfort, everything. We live in a very remote location, and yes, it's by choice. The world outside is chaotic, dangerous, and full of people who would take advantage of someone like her. Too trusting, too curious, too naive.
I'm going to pass.
She's always been special. She doesn't quite understand the risks out there, so I made the decision early on to keep her here. No visitors, no trips into town, no contact with strangers. I know it sounds harsh, but it was necessary. Now that she's older, she started questioning things, pushing boundaries. She got it into her head that she needs to experience the outside world just because some charming guy showed up. She ran off without telling me, met people who fed her fantasies, and now she thinks I'm the villain for doing what I've always done, keeping her safe. Yes, I was angry. Yes, I said some harsh things. But can you blame me? I spent years protecting her from a world that would eat her alive. And suddenly I'm being painted as controlling and abusive? So, am I the jerk for keeping someone I love sheltered from a world I knew would hurt her, even if it meant limiting her freedom and making some hard choices she didn't understand?
Am I good?
Yep.
Mother Gothel.
All right. See, you did all right with this.
I did. I knew that. Literally, you said I'm a single woman, and I knew that. And I don't know why, because there's plenty of other villains that are single women, but
Could have been Lady Tremaine. It could have been.
you didn't even have to go to the adopted daughter. I was just like, I'm a single woman, and I was just like, that's Mother Gothel. And then hearing the next line, I'm like, definitely.
All right. Well, congratulations. You got what? Six?
Six
right, and 2 you were not able to answer. So that is a pretty darn good score. Congratulations, Eileen.
Thank you.
This was fun. I enjoyed this. I had actually initially planned on doing, and I have some more that are movies that you haven't seen that I was going to do with, someone from the, one of my movie podcasts, and maybe I still will. I think that this was a good test run for this, so maybe, Matt, if you're listening, you might be up for one of these sometime soon.
With some you could throw some Disney ones in there.
Oh yeah, he does watch the Disney movies as well, and his girlfriend is a Disney adult as well. So he's I wouldn't say that he's quite as
He's well versed though.
He's well versed, and he does enjoy it. I don't know if he's quite drank the Kool-Aid the way that I have. All right. Well, thank you, Eileen.
Anytime.
This was fun.
I'll see you soon.
Well, yeah, you'll be part of our next podcast.
I know that one I'm a little stressed out about.
There are some tough choices, but you'll hear more about that next week.
All right. Have a good night.
Boy, villains can come in all shapes and sizes, but you know one that is just an absolute thief? That's time. That's right, folks. We don't have a lot of time. And do you really want to spend a lot of that time stressing over how you're going to plan your next vacation? No, of course you don't want to do that. So let We Do Travel Right do it for you. We Do Travel Right will offer you that one-on-one service with an agent, and that agent has the power of a team behind them, including the dining team, which will help you with your hard-to-get dining reservations. And We Do Travel Right will help you with those, with your park tickets, with helping you navigate the parks and the resorts, and really help you find any deals that there might be and really craft a vacation that is going to be perfect for your family. And the best thing about it is it's free. Yeah, you do not pay We Do Travel Right anything extra. That's because whether it's Disney or Universal or a cruise line or an all-inclusive, all of those places build the cost of an agent into their pricing. So you're paying for the agent whether you use it or not. So it just makes sense to use the agent, doesn't it? So go to wedotravelright.com/Mazza. That's wedotravelright.com/MAZA. And get your next magical vacation started today. And thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Mazza's Musings podcast. Were you able to figure out what some of those villains were? Were you able to do it before Eileen did? If you were, or you have any feedback, you can let me know by emailing me at mazzasmusings@gmail.com. You can also reach out on social media. We're on Facebook at the Mazza's Musings Podcast. We're on Instagram, Threads, and X, Twitter, at Mazza's Musings Pod. We are also on TikTok at Mazza's Musings Podcast. And you can find us on Blue Sky and subscribe on our YouTube page. However you like to connect with us, we would love it if you would leave a rating or a review, which will help make us more visible to more people, and we can help grow this community that we're building here. And also, word of mouth is always a great way to lead more people to the podcast. Just say, hey, listen to this great podcast. You should too. Also, don't forget to check out mazzasmusings.wordpress.com. That's the place where you can find past episodes, more information about me and this podcast, and you can sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter comes in your inbox once a week and lets you know what's coming up in the podcast, what you might have missed, and there will also be other interesting information. And sometimes it's news, sometimes it's about sweepstakes and contests. Basically, if I think that it's interesting, and I figure you'll think it's interesting because you're receiving my newsletter and listening to my podcast. While you're on the website, you can also support us a little bit more by buying us a blue milk. And when you buy us a blue milk, it basically offers a little bit of a small monetary support that helps with some of the small costs that go into putting this podcast together. However you are supporting us, we very much appreciate it. I hope you have a great weekend and a great week. For the Mazza's Musings podcast is brought to you by Hi Dad Soup. Check them out at Mickey and Minutes on Instagram.